The next phase in consideration should be medical support items. As again, our concern is to bring a person out of the field intact. There are a variety of things that are needed to support an individual casualty, be this an automotive accident, firearms injuries, any kind of natural disaster that might take place. Several variations on this that are available. In this case, this is a platoon leader's first aid kit. One of the better supported and supplied items that we have found that's on the market. There are better that are commercially made that are professional. It is a volume device. This particular kit is carried as a shoulder bag. Contains some simple first aid instructions and a good combination. Everything from 4x4 bandages, individual compresses, gauze, forceps, band-aids, cold compress, you name it, it's here. One of the advantages and the desired effects is that you will have volume in the field. We're not treating with a band-aid. You may have to maintain a casualty for a long period of time. Long as in maybe 1 to 3 days before you can receive proper medical attention. Can you do so? Well, you can, but first you need the proper tools. Platoon leader's first aid can actually be carried by almost every individual if you can anticipate, for instance, an upcoming action. This particular device runs about $9.50 to $10 a unit. It's readily available in good numbers, and I would consider one of the first choices as an individual item within each fire team or squad. Individual support and protection includes such items as the medium compress, which is approximately 11 3/4 inches square by the time you're finished. This would cover undesired injuries such as shotgun wounds, lacerations from glass or fragmentation. Where several smaller bandages might be necessary, this covers an entire area. It should be carried by each individual, by the way, if at all possible. Of course, we also have the individual compress first aid dressing. These are both sterile. This one is carried in the individual station above, on the pistol belt, and also on the butt pack. It is used as a compress modifier. If you have a laceration, a cut, eye injury, whatever, and you have bleeding, you open the pack, apply the bandage, maintaining pressure, and then fix the bandage into place with wings, butterfly wings approximately 2 feet long, that tie over the wound. This is your first option with an injury. This is the next place to go if it's big enough that you don't think this is going to handle it. Highly recommended that at least 3 of these are carried per person. 2 is considered minimal. 1 per person, and of course the aidman carries anywhere from 10 to 12 of these in his individual first aid kit. Going to a more sophisticated kit, this is a tri-fold emergency pack. The first pouch is carrying an individual medium, several different types of compresses, triangular folds, etc. The center pouch is carrying individual medication, carries everything from cough lozenges to feminine protection devices. Now, that may sound funny, but if you don't have enough compresses that you can carry, we can be carefree. What I mean by that, and this is used also by EMTs and many ambulances, you will never carry enough if you have extreme trauma patients to deal with all the casualties. These are lightweight, they're small, they can be easily applied, and they can be stationed accordingly. Cheap, easy, and light, and they're thin. These supplement these. They're still not the best choice, but they're a choice. Take your pick of brands. We're not too particular. In addition to that, we have a variety of surgical items that are available. There is a small surgical pack located in the largest chamber. I'll give you an example. Again, the all-important clamp and forceps. If you have a bleeder, small vein, even an artery, I'd take my chances with an artery, reach in, clamp it off. It is important that you stop the bleeding as quickly as possible. Allow for the fact that you may not have intravenous feed to supplement the body's loss of fluids. Another important thing, plastic gloves, and they don't necessarily have to be sterile, but you must be carrying them, and all individuals should. Within your own personal groups, you may have a good, reliable record of the blood supply that you're going to be involved with. But being involved with other individuals in the country, there is the possibility of coming in contact with highly communicable diseases. Protect yourself now so that we don't have to worry later. Another important thing, thermal blankets. It is recommended that each individual carry one of these. It's a solar blanket, very popular with a lot of emergency and crash units. This particular device, called the survival blanket, this one manufactured by Rothco, is to be used to help treat for shock. Remember, we're going to stop the bleeding, treat for shock, evac the patient. Take care of the problem, the injury. When you are treating a casualty, in many cases, the individual unit will have a pre-designated point for this equipment. Use the casualty's equipment first. Do not use frontline medical equipment until you have expended the material that the individual is carrying. This way, you will not lose material that is leaving the battlefield with a casualty. Think about it. You use your equipment, and you're the next one hit. Now, we have a resource problem. We may not necessarily be able to treat the individual properly. Another simple device, in this case, gauze, sterile fields, and pads. 5 and dime stores, medical support facilities, pharmacies all carry them. You will need quantities, not a little, a lot. And as many as you can afford. Cheaper is better by volume. Another device, an item that is very important, very desirable, air splints. Cheap and easy. Fastest way. We've all been trained with Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts and with first aid how to fabricate splints. But an air splint's awfully cheap, saves a lot of misery, is fairly clean, and can be left in place for an extended period of time. Okay? Very desirable, costs anywhere from as little as $2 a unit to as high as $16 a unit for the Cadillacs of air splints. These are one of the primary items that should be in here. In addition to that, sounds strange, I would expect to see a cup of soup in here. Small eating items. I devise in ways that these are items that are used to, shall we say, induce the taking of fluids where it might not otherwise be possible. Also for medication support. Pain relievers. All types, any types, whatever you can afford. Medications such as generic Tylenol, aspirin, Tylenol 3 if it's accessible. Whatever types of painkillers you can access, that's a personal resource problem that can't necessarily be addressed by outside sources. You have to be innovative. This particular kit is a little more extensive, costs quite a bit more money, but there should be one in every squad at least, preferably 2, one for each fire team. This individual kit folds up. And it's convenient to carry. It's that simple. It can also be carried, of course, over the shoulder in a better fixed position and is accessible to the corpsman. Upon being necessary to be used, access that simple. Material can be drawn out of the pouch as needed while you're working on a casualty. You do not even have to take the kit off. Very important because you don't have time to worry about this. Man's got an arm laying open and you see boop, 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 boop. You're going to be more worried about how much fluid's going out here than whether or not you look good. You can access it. Again, you'll never have enough medical support. I'll emphasize small compresses. In this case, these are made by Johnson & Johnson. The medium compress, the platoon leader's first aid kit, or any type of first aid kit that you can fabricate, and if every individual can carry one, that would be recommended, up to and including minor surgical kits. This is a matter of life and death. Support your people properly, they'll support you.